Have you ever wondered why only a small portion of people actually manage to achieve financial freedom? The truth is harsh, but needs to be said. Less than 1% of salaried workers reach the long-dreamed-of financial independence. And it's not because of a lack of hard work. On the contrary, many of those 99% work all month long, from sunrise to sunset, accumulate years of effort, yet remain trapped month after month in that old routine of receiving, paying bills, and hoping something is left over at the end. But why does this happen? The answer lies in the way most people learn to deal with money. Most were taught to study, get a good job, earn a salary, and stop there. But a salary is not the end of the road. It's just the beginning. What sets the 1% who achieve independence apart from the other 99% isn't luck or some supernatural talent. What they have in common is practical knowledge on how to turn an ordinary salary into real wealth. And that's exactly what Robert Kiyosaki, author of the famous book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, teaches. 4 practical steps that anyone with discipline and dedication can follow to escape the survival cycle and begin building wealth. These 4 steps don't require a huge salary or starting off rich. They only require one thing: a shift in mindset and practical action. Picture this: 2 people earn the exact same amount each month. One, after 10 years, is drowning in debt, frustrated, tired, and without prospects. The other, in the same time frame, has built a small network of assets, has extra income coming in every month, and is starting to enjoy more free time to live life. What made the difference? The path each one chose, and the good news is you can choose that path too. The journey isn't easy, but it's totally possible. And the first step is understanding that a salary doesn't have to be a prison. It can be your launchpad to freedom. Ready to learn how this works in practice? Then tell me, are you in the 1% or still trapped in the 99% cycle? A lot of people believe the secret to getting rich is earning more money. Sounds logical, right? If the problem is a lack of money, then the solution must be to make more. But that idea is a dangerous trap, and I'm going to show you why. If making more money were the key to wealth, then everyone with a high income would be financially secure. But reality looks very different. Ever seen football players who made millions and are now broke? Or people who got a raise and are still drowning in debt? That's because the problem isn't how much you make, but what you do with that money. Your salary can be a powerful tool, but for many people, it becomes an invisible prison. This cycle has a name: the rat race. Imagine a hamster on a wheel. It runs and runs and runs, but never gets anywhere. That's how financial life works for people who don't know how to use their salary properly. The cycle is always the same. It repeats month after month, year after year, and then comes the illusion: if I earned more, my problems would be solved. But when the raise comes, spending increases too. Car gets old, buy a new one with a bigger loan. Phone's outdated, get the latest model. Salary went up, then upgrade to a bigger apartment with a bigger mortgage. And so the debts grow along with the income, and the person remains trapped in the same cycle, just with bigger numbers. But here's the secret the richest 1% have understood: the salary isn't a prison, it can be a launch ramp. The question isn't how much money enters your account, but what you do with it once it arrives. If you learn to use your money strategically, it can start working for you instead of the other way around. This requires discipline, a change in mindset, and above all, the decision to get out of the rat race and enter the wealth-building game. You know that feeling of thinking, if I made more money, my financial life would be fixed? That's a trap many fall into. And the truth is, it's not just about how much you earn, but what you do with what you earn. It sounds simple, but this is one of the biggest differences between those who stay stuck in an endless cycle of bills and those who manage to turn their money into freedom. Imagine your salary as a launch ramp. It can propel you forward toward your goals or keep you going in circles, getting nowhere. Most people live in this so-called rat race. You work hard all month, get paid, pay bills, maybe treat yourself to a little pleasure or impulse buy, and then it all starts again next month. Work, pay bills, repeat. And meanwhile, life passes by. Opportunities for financial growth disappear simply because we weren't taught to use money as a tool. We treat it like something that comes and goes without leaving a trace. But here's the big shift. The problem isn't the salary itself, it's the mindset with which you handle it. Have you ever noticed that some people, even earning less than you, are able to save, invest, and even travel regularly, while others, even with high salaries, are always in debt and stressed about money? That's because those people understood something fundamental. Money needs a purpose. Every cent that enters your account should be consciously directed, whether to cover basic needs, build reserves, or create assets that will eventually work for you. When you shift this perspective, your salary stops being a prison and becomes a real lever to achieve your dreams. You leave that exhausting cycle of working just to pay bills and start paving a path that leads you to true financial freedom. This is where the real transformation begins. And no, we're not talking about numbers, spreadsheets, or investments. Just yet. The first step toward financial freedom starts in your mind. It may sound simple, but that's where most people get stuck. Truly wealthy people, and when I say wealthy, I mean real wealth, not just flashy lifestyles, see salary completely differently than most. While the majority sees the salary as a final destination, I got paid, now I'll live off this. The wealthy see it as a tool, a bridge, a trampoline. Have you ever heard someone say, "I don't make enough to save money. I'll only think about investing when I earn more. Money isn't for me. I've never been good with it." These thoughts seem harmless, but are slow poisons. They prevent you from seeing the possibilities with what you already have. It's like someone who only sees the stones in the path and never realizes they could use them to build a staircase. Robert Kiyosaki always says, the problem isn't how much you earn, but how you think about money. And he's absolutely right. Those who achieve financial independence think differently. Instead of complaining there's never any money left at the end of the month, they ask, how can I make sure there is money left? What can I cut, adjust, organize? How can I make this money do more than just pay bills? Think about it. If you keep thinking like everyone else, you'll keep getting the same results as everyone else. The shift in mindset is the foundation. And the best part, it costs nothing. You don't need a penny to start thinking differently, but it does require courage, because rethinking old habits, questioning beliefs you've carried since childhood, like money is dirty, people with money aren't happy, the rich are selfish, is uncomfortable but necessary. And from the moment you change your perspective on money, the opportunities that were hidden begin to appear. You start to see paths, make smarter decisions, and money stops being a problem and starts becoming an ally. So, before you want to earn more, before you want to invest, start at the root. Change your mindset. Now that you understand everything starts in the mind, let's take a more concrete step. And this step involves choices, the ones we make almost without thinking in our daily lives, but that shape our financial future. Robert Kiyosaki teaches something very simple but powerful. The rich buy assets, the poor buy liabilities. But what does that really mean? Let's break it down clearly. Assets are things that put money in your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. It's that simple. Now, let's see that in practice. Imagine you've just received your salary. Most people rush to buy a new car, the latest smartphone, a bigger TV, or expensive clothes. None of that is a crime, of course. Everyone enjoys comfort. The problem is that these purchases are liabilities disguised as achievements. Why? Because the new car starts to lose value as soon as it leaves the dealership. On top of that, It brings expenses, fuel, maintenance, insurance, taxes. The new phone, it won't earn you a single cent. On the contrary, it was expensive and will soon be outdated. Designer clothes, they won't pay you dividends either. Now, do you know what an asset is? A rental property that generates income every month. Shares of companies that pay dividends. An online course you created and continue to sell. A small business that runs even when you're not there. Here's the magic question that can change your life. Will this make me money or cost me money? Simple, direct, and often ignored. The rich ask this question every time before they open their wallet. The poor often don't ask themselves anything, they just buy what they deserve, what they've always dreamed of, or what's trending. This isn't about living a joyless life. It's about living wisely. With every purchase decision, you are either building your future or sinking it. This is the heart of financial transformation. If you're still thinking, all of this makes sense, but where do I start? The answer is clear: start within. Many people believe the key to financial freedom is learning how to invest, starting a business, or earning more. And yes, all of that helps. But before any practical step, you need to change the way you think about money. Think about it. A hammer can be used to build a house or destroy one. The hammer is neutral. What changes is how you use it. Money is exactly the same. It's neither good nor bad. It simply amplifies who you already are and what you do with it. If you have a confused mindset about money, if you see money as an enemy, a taboo, or something that's only for the rich, you could even win a jackpot and still end up losing it all. And worse, you'll keep thinking the problem is the world, the government, your boss, luck, anything but your own mindset. Here's a real example. Two people earn the same salary. Let's say 2,000 euros a month. The first person sees that money as a limit. They think, this is all I have, I'll pay the bills, treat myself a bit and hope there's something left. The second person looks at the same 2,000 euros and thinks, how can I use part of this to plant something that will bring me returns in the future? They study, learn, cut unnecessary expenses, and set aside money to invest in themselves or in a project. At first, it seems like a small step, but over time, the results come. That's the power of a mindset that thinks like an owner, not like a victim. Have you ever asked yourself what you learned about money as a child? Maybe you heard phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees. Thinking too much about money takes you away from faith. Rich people are all arrogant. These phrases stick in our subconscious and shape our financial decisions in adulthood, even if we don't realize it. That's why change starts there, by deconstructing old beliefs and creating new thoughts. You need to believe that you are capable of managing money well, multiplying it, and living in abundance. And you know what's most beautiful about all this? Changing your mindset costs nothing. You don't have to pay to think differently, but it does require courage. Courage to stop blaming others. Courage to take responsibility for your own financial life. Courage to say, this is how it's been until now, but from this moment on, things will be different. If you've made it this far and you're truly thinking about changing, great. But from this point forward, the practical part begins. And it all starts with knowing exactly where your money is going. Now that your mindset is transforming, it's time to get grounded and face a number. Most people don't like to confront honestly. Where is your money going? This is the second stage on the road to financial freedom, according to Robert Kiyosaki, cash flow control. Let's imagine the following scenario. You're in a boat, paddling in the middle of the sea. You're putting in effort, giving your all, but the boat isn't moving. Water keeps coming in. You can paddle all you want. If you don't plug the hole, you'll sink. That's what happens when someone earns, but doesn't know how much they spend. They try hard, work long hours, get their paycheck every month, but live under pressure, always chasing losses. Why? Because they don't know where the leaks are. Here's the big truth. It doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is how much you can keep. Some people earn 5,000 euros and live in debt. Others earn 100 to 200 euros and manage to save, invest, and even travel. The secret is control, and we're not talking about becoming stingy or counting every penny. We're talking about clarity. Do you know how much you spent on food last month? What about transportation, online shopping, spontaneous snacks that just this once that happens every week? Most people can't answer. So here's the first step, simple but powerful. Write everything down. Yes, everything. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, or a phone app. What matters is recording every cent that comes in and goes out. During the first 30 days, you'll start to notice a pattern. You'll see where your money is silently leaking out. And here comes the most liberating part. You'll be able to make conscious decisions, no longer acting on autopilot. Cash flow control is like turning on the light in a dark room. You stop stumbling because you can finally see the path. And you know what happens when you start to control your money. You begin to feel safer, more in control. And that has an incredible emotional effect. You stop living in fear and start building with intention. Now that you understand the importance of controlling your cash flow, it's time to learn a practical strategy that can transform how you use your money. The famous 30-30-30 rule. This rule is simple but powerful. It teaches you how to divide your salary strategically so that it starts working for you, not the other way around. Let's imagine you earn 1,500 euros per month. With this rule, here's what you'll do: 30% for security. This is what protects you from unexpected events. It's the money that goes into your emergency fund to cover car repairs, medical appointments, or even a period of unemployment. Having this financial cushion gives you peace of mind. You won't need to panic when something unplanned happens, because you'll be prepared. 30% for investments. This is the money that will work for you in the future. It can go into dividend-paying stocks, real estate funds, government bonds, or even into starting a small business. The goal here is to make your money generate more money over time without you needing to be present all the time. Percent for personal development. Here's one of the secrets many people overlook. The best investment you can make is in yourself. It could be a course, a book, a mentorship, or a new skill that allows you to earn more in the future. Knowledge is never an expense. It's an invisible asset you carry for the rest of your life. And what about the remaining 10%? That's for flexible spending. Yes, you can and should have a portion of your money for leisure, pleasure, and small rewards. This percentage can be adjusted to your reality, but the important thing is, have a plan. Now, an essential tip: automate the process. As soon as your salary lands, set up automatic transfers for each account. This helps you avoid the temptation to spend what you should be saving. Don't rely only on willpower. Rely on systems. The truth is that most people spend first and try to save what's left, but it should be the opposite. Save first. Live on what remains. When you apply this rule consistently, something magical happens. You start building security, assets, and personal growth all at once. Little by little, month by month, the results begin to show. It's like planting a seed and watering it every day. And to bring even more clarity, the next step is to separate necessary expenses from unnecessary ones, something that may seem simple but can reveal a lot of hidden things in your budget. If this content helped you see money with fresh eyes, imagine what's coming in the next steps. And listen, there are still a lot of people out there lost in this journey, stuck in the infamous rat race, not knowing where to start. So if you think this video could open someone's eyes, share it with a friend, a family member, or even that co-worker who's always saying money is never enough. Sometimes a simple piece of advice can change an entire life. And of course, don't forget to like the video if it brought you value. That really helps the channel reach more people. And if you want to keep learning and growing with me, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss the next episodes. Here you'll learn how to build wealth in a practical, conscious, and smart way. See you in the next video.